What's up, kids? How's everybody doing today? Well, I told you we were going to start a new contest, and I believe it started today. So head on over to the Partzilla website, and at the very top of the banner, you can see where it starts off with "Win 5 pairs of goggles now" and pick the next prize. So, also, I've got a video embedded inside of there that shows you how the contest is going to work, but it's going to be multiple tiers. We'll start off with the goggles, and then we move up to tires, and I think there's a helmet involved, and then eventually we end up to a couple of machines. But the interesting part with this particular contest, as you go through and enter to win whatever's being given away during that prize period, you get to vote on what is going to get given away next. So it's not us deciding. We've got certain things to choose from, but the next prize is going to be determined by a popular vote. So head on over to the website, take a look at the contest. I think it's going to be pretty interesting. And as we go along, I'll be keeping you updated with probably media post on either Instagram and or Facebook. And who knows, maybe they'll drop something in on the website page as well. But head over there, check it out. It's going to be a fun contest. We're going to be running it starting today all the way through the end of the year. So go ahead, get over there, get involved, and good luck with it. All right, let's look at last week at whatever I couldn't answer or any questions that may have been sent in on any of our social channels this week. You know, we do get a lot of questions, but my friend down in Florida, he picks out a few that I start off with. One of the ones that we had last week, ASB Amon had asked me, John, what software do you use for service information for ATV, UTVs, something like AllData? And as I told him, I have a bit of an unfair advantage. I still have logins for all the different manufacturers, so I can go straight to the horse's mouth and get whatever information I need. Now, we do sell the factory manuals for the manufacturers that actually produce them in print still. I know Yamaha and Honda being two of them. I believe Kawasaki still does. But you can actually order the manual directly from us. Now, it's a little bit tricky finding that on the website. So the best thing to do is just call in, gives your make and model, and the service rep that you're speaking with can figure out if there's a manual available for it. But AllData, I went and looked at that. I'd never heard of it before, but that's definitely just for automotive stuff. I didn't see anything that was power sports or marine oriented on that particular site. Philly D had asked me, good afternoon, John. I was wondering if you knew what an F1 code is on my 2005 Honda ST1300. Noticed that yesterday when coming back home from work, was told possibly ECU, but they stopped making them. But you never gave me the code. So Philly, if you're still needing to know what that code means, you know, right, I just give it to me, and I don't mind looking it up for you at all. And unfortunately, you are correct. Let's hope that your ECU is still okay. A lot of people have said, well, most of your ECU, and everybody runs to that. Out of my whole career, I think I've replaced 2, and I've damaged 1 of them. So ECUs typically don't fail. I mean, they just don't. But hopefully yours is okay, because as you noted, no, it is not in production anymore. And I tried doing a cross-reference to see if you could get away with a little bit newer version, and you can for your 2005 machine. But guess what? They quit making that one too about 3 months ago. Now there's one more alternative. They did have what they call the police version of the ST1300. So that might work. So is it a 100% guarantee? No. But that would be my last course of action is to run out and just spend $1,000 on an ECU, which 99% of the time it's not that. It's usually something else. So be careful just jumping to that conclusion just because the flow chart said so. Flow charts, they're good for a preliminary troubleshooting, but they are not the end all and be all. Not in my opinion, anyway. I've seen too much in my career. JP4 Garage. My wife rides a 250cc Honda Clone. I believe he's referring to a manufacturer called CSC. I've never actually seen one of these before, but I know what he's talking about. Last week, the trans went out. The dash says it's in second, but the bike rolls freely. Oops. I was able to roll the bike back and forth and get it into first drive all right, but went to shift up to a second and got stuck in second with some free rolling. Trying to shift into third is like pushing up against a wall. But more than likely, you've broken a shift fork, more than likely, and there's no other way to get around opening up that engine and taking a peek inside. Now, it being a CSC clone, maybe a little bit difficult to find the replacement parts in there, but hey, give it a shot. All right, Josie Flance 3881, another 400EX. Man, y'all just love that machine. So do I. Need help. My 2007 Honda 400EX was running fine. All of a sudden, my electric starter won't work. I can roll it and it will start. Now, with the switch on, I have nothing, no lights, anything. I put the tester on the battery and it reads 12.75, more than enough. The battery is 6 months old and the main fuse is good. I don't know what else to check. Please help. All right, Hank, if you would drop in the chat, Help by ATV won't start. That was like one of the first videos we ever did, and it was on a 400EX. There's more than just that one main fuse. There's a couple other fuses, and it sounds like you've definitely got a power problem, and it is going to be systemic. But the good part is, with that particular machine, it's not a complicated wiring harness at all. I think there's 3 fuses total, and I'll walk you through how to diagnose it. So if you would just check that out, and hopefully that straightens you up. And if not, let me know, and we will look into it further. Bill Walker, does the timing chain ever need to be replaced on my GL 1800? If so, when? I've seen these things go over 100,000 miles without a problem. I believe we also did a video on that, talking about the timing belt versus the timing chain, which I believe was introduced later, and almost never needs to be replaced. But your telltale sign is you're going to start to hear a little bit of chain slap up front, and that tells you that, yeah, you've gone past what the tensioner can do, because it automatically adjusts as the chain stretches. So, but when you start hearing any type of chain slap up under that front cover, you need to do something, because those teeth are not that tall. And if you jump time, it's not going to end well, because I'm pretty sure the Goldwing is interference engine. So if it jumps time, you're going to bend valves. Lavish Mex had asked me, why YFC only clicks and clicks, no start. Is it a bad solenoid or a bad battery? Because sometimes it does start. All right. That machine back there hadn't been running a while. Get on it, start it, click, 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 and then 4th time I hit the button, it actually engaged and fired up. In that case, going to be the battery. And I bet you it's the same for yours. Now, just because it has 12.4 volts doesn't necessarily mean it's a healthy battery. That's the case with that one behind me. And if you notice, there's a charger on it right now. So it should bring it back to life, and then I'll test it. But I think we even did a video on that one, doing a no start condition. So Hank, if you can find that one and drop it in the chat, Lavish can take a peek at it. Thomas C. Hey, I have a 1983 CR80 that I'm rebuilding, and I have rebuilt the engine and carburetor. It runs great at higher RPMs, but wants to bog and die when taking off unless I rev it really high. I've replaced the CDI and the stator. I've tried rejetting the needle settings, but I'm wondering if I need a new carb or missing something else. Well, I think you're circling around it right there, especially a machine that old, and if it's been sitting up for a while. Just because you clean out the jets, that doesn't necessarily take care of the passageways inside of the carburetor. Now, those are stopped up. I mean, it's the same thing as the jet being stopped up. So let it soak in some good, strong carburetor cleaner, and then use compressed air to blow it out. And that should take care of it. Now, if all that doesn't work, and if there's the carb available for it, you may be forced to go ahead and pony up for a new one. But hey, 1983, I think she deserves to be brought back to life, if that's what it takes. All right, when that catches me up for last week, let's swing around and see what we've got for today. I got a few of them. Chris R. How's it going, Chris? Hello, sir. I hope you got my message from our trip this month. Those dunes really beat you and the machines up. Lost petcock knob on the TRX and shook the bull seats loose on the 660R. Wow. But no fear, PZ replacements are on the way. Well, good. Yes, I did see the pictures. And the fun part is, well, especially once we moved me over to the new studio, which they started on this week, by the way. There was actually people there cutting holes in doors and walls and changing the lights. It's going to be good. But I digress. When I get over there, we're going to change up the way I interact with everybody on YouTube. We're going to implement a program, or actually it's a piece of equipment, to where I'll be able to put on the screen information. And in your case, I'd be able to share your pics. Right now, I can't do it, but we will. And thanks for sending those in, Chris. We love seeing all our customers out there having fun and definitely representing with the Partzilla do-rag. That's very cool on your part. Thank you. All right. Oh, one more. Chris R wanted to mention in the running for the 100 hats, but there aren't any PZ hats. Is P ever going to have an apparel line, or am I going to have to pirate stuff from my shop shirts? They're talking about it. Our swag area that used to be, like one shelf wide, now takes up its own room. So I think we're inching ever closer to putting all the stuff that we're getting merchandised, and like the goggles that we make that actually from Vizio that actually have the Partzilla logo on them. I would imagine we're inching closer to putting that on the website. But hey, we'll keep sending out stuff to our readers and watchers. So maybe you're due for another swag shipment. What do you think, multimedia team? Do you think Chris needs some new stuff from us? I think so. That's my vote anyway. So maybe I'll bring that up on Monday's meeting. Sound like a deal? Chris R asked also bonus codes, and I asked them before I went live. Of course, I'm in a different building for a little bit longer, and that not yet. And if they do come up with one or implement one before our time is up, I'll shoot it to y'all. So Hank, if you can nudge Chelsea and get a bonus code, we'll go ahead and kick this new contest off. Kick it off right. I know she's been busy though. She's figured out that building a landing page on a website involves several people. Sent a screenshot of all the code that was being written. I said, the code doesn't bother me. It's all those names over to the right. One of those being our CEO. I was like, that's the one that scares me. I'm kidding. Our CEO's, he's a great guy to work with and for. So I'm fortunate. JP4 Garage. Yep, it is a CSC. Thanks for the info. Our plan is to crack it open and figure it out this winter. Well, when you crack it open, I'll be curious to see what you find in there. See if I'm right. See if it was actually a broken shift fork that's causing things to go sideways in there. So, yeah, let us know. Keep us in the loop on that one. Oh, Townsend Stewart. I thought it was Tony Stewart there for a minute. It's the wrong chat. I have a slight timing chain rattle at startup in my YXZ1000. Just a second. Is this a cause for concern? No, not really, because it's needing to build up a little oil pressure before that tensioner really gets juiced up and to push against the chain. Now, I have heard of, especially ones that are a little bit worn, the chains are a little stretched out, that it can jump time, especially at startup. And when we built our YXZ, we actually used instead of the automatic and the oil assisted tensioner, we went with a manual one. Now, the trick with that is you can't just set it and forget it. You're going to have to go back and tighten it up every so often. You have to do the adjustment as the chain starts to stretch. But if you stay on top of it, it shouldn't be a problem. I mean, it's no different than checking the chain on your on your motocross bike if you've ever done that, which I'm sure most of you have. But you may want to look at that. I'm not sure that we've posted that bottom end or the head installation on the YXZ in the on that particular unit build yet. But if we haven't, it's coming. I know that Tracy is working on it. Tor Melio, hi, good to see you. I'm following your CRF 450 series. I fixed everything on mine. However, it is very slow to start. I see that there is gasoline on the block just under the carb. Any pointers? Yeah, those carbs are kind of a challenge. Let's put it that way. And the kit that you can typically get for the 450, it just does the upper body of the carb. Now, on the lower section, there is another set of O-rings that typically, with time and age, they start to leak, and they either leak out fuel or let air come in, and they may be doing both on your particular machine. I'm fairly certain that we did show the video that showed the complete carb build, but there's two different part numbers you have to get. And the lower part you cannot get from Honda. It had to come from Moose Racing. So if you would look at that one's playlist, and then I'll cough up those part numbers for you. Go ahead and warn you, those lower O-rings and seals, if you want to call it that, they're all really small, and it's hard to get them to stay in the channel. And I used, I believe it was a Mercruiser product. It's almost like a type of glue, if you will, to hold everything in place, because it tested even my patience. And my nickname is Job, so or at least I think it is. So take a look at that, and I think we called that that Mercruiser product out. I can't think off the top of my head. All right, Emilio. Hey, hello. I have a Honda ATV 350 FEY. I know what a FE is. 4x4 ES 2000. Sometimes works great, sometimes it doesn't. When it switches to go forward and then sometimes reverse, doesn't work. Need help. Okay, a couple of things. There was a recall many moons ago on that the shifter sensor that's on the front of the engine. I think you can still get those replaced for free at the dealership. Now that may have come to an end, but this is not an expensive part besides that. Other than that, 2000, man, she's coming up on 24 years old. I'd be curious to know what oil you are running in it with that particular unit, especially when it starts getting a little bit harder to shift. If you're running just the regular GN4 oil, now you want to consider going up to the semi-synthetic in the gold bottle. I've done that in the past, and after a few miles, things start to shift a little bit better, and that shifter motor has an easier time. Now, if it still doesn't want, if the sensor's good and it still doesn't want to shift, I've actually seen those shifters, the motors themselves, get weak over time, and I've replaced a few of those to where they were a little bit more snappy when they're brand new, as most things are. Youth is wasted on the young. Oh, Chris R. Ew, what is that blue machine behind you? YFC or a Raptor? That's a YFC. That's my son's 450. He's had it for, I'm not going to say how old he was when I gave it to him. I get in trouble. But yeah, he's had it for a few years. But I've been storing it for him. He and his wife, they've already filled up their new house in the garage. He's a Talley. He's got like 4 cars. So what can I say? If you infect your kids with the love of machinery, they won't have any money to spend on drugs. But it is an addiction nonetheless. Outrageous penalty. Hey, John, I went with a dual Empire tuner, but I lost about 3 miles an hour top speed on the stock air lid from a rusted trash exhaust. Very disappointed. I followed the tuner instructions. Any ideas? All right, let me read through that again. Lost 3 miles an hour? Yeah, I wouldn't be super excited about that. Should gain 3. So I've never heard of a dual Empire tuner, but maybe there's a reason for that. If it's still under warranty, maybe send it back and go with the the most well-known one, the Dynotune one, a Dynajet, and because it's always served me well. I mean, the only other thing you could go to is just reflashing the ECU completely. But if you're only messing with the intake and the exhaust, you shouldn't have to take that drastic of a change. A piggyback like the Dynajet should take care of it. Chris R, hell yeah, let's do it. Okay. Let's check. Let me check into the new stuff, and we'll send out another box. Sound like a deal? Cool. Paul, hey, how's it going, Paul? Hey, John, didn't make it last week. Finally finished 2004 Polaris 90 Sportsman. Talk about a nightmare on Elm Street. Oh, good timing on that. Good grief. Broken plastic, rusted everything. Hope they plan on getting the tires fixed so the little boy can ride it for a change. Let me scroll down. I sent those I sent an email with those photos of the Yamaha Kodiak. Have you seen them? Yeah, I did. Good grief. Did they have to dig it up? You couldn't even tell what it was hardly. It was just a giant dirt clod. I'm sorry, but I think you need to get a little bit tougher on your client base. I mean, they at least need to bring him in marginally clean and not bring in a dirt dauber. At the dealership level, we got to the point where we're not your cleaning service. you don't want to pay our mechanics X amount an hour to wash your machine, do you? So I think that same rule should apply to you. But yeah, that looked rough. Hank's Off-Road, Polaris Sportsman, High Lifter, 850 head bolts, reusable, and valve lash. I'm pretty sure they are reusable, but off the top of my head, I'm not going to remember the valve lash. I don't want to tell you wrong. So Hank, my Hank, if you would make a note of Hank's question, and I'll look up the valve lash on that one. What year is that 850, by the way? It's probably in the same family as the 850 that we did a top end job, and I'm pretty sure I did the valves on it. So, but unless you tell me the year, I can't say for certain, but I will look it up for you. Sound like a deal? John Batty, still curious about the lithium ion battery with the stock charging system. I thought we talked about this a little bit. It is the downside of it. And the charging being different, you have to have a different charger if you're going to charge it on the bench. And my contention was that if you're charging it from the machine, it's varying that voltage as it's bringing it up, and not just a constant X amount of volts, which is what most chargers for regular sealed lead acid batteries, what they do. And with the lithium ion chargers, it's a stepped. They're constantly doing this as they're bringing up the charge. So I would imagine they, from an electrical point of view, that they work, that it's not an issue for them on a machine because the RPM is changing so much. And it, in effect, is stepping it up and down as it's charging it up through the voltage regulator rectifier. So that is my theory at this point. Outrageous penalty, dual Empire exhaust and EHS tuner piggyback, John. Yeah, I'm still not familiar with that one, but if you're sure that you got the right map file to load in there for your particular application, because I've made that mistake before. I mean, you're looking at a list of this long, and so, oh, there it is, and then maybe you clicked on the wrong one. Maybe not. And if not, I want to bash a company that I don't personally have experience with, but give the EHS guys a call and say, listen, I installed this thing and I've lost top end. I mean, and it's going to change your torque curve, but it should benefit your top RPM, I would think. So at least give them a shot to try to make it right. Maybe they can make a suggestion for a different map that needs to go in for your application. Oh, Paul's chiming in with John Batty. So I know that with boat batteries, when dealing with lithium batteries, you need a special lithium charge. Yeah, that's correct, as I talked about earlier. Paul also kicked back, well, I did charge him to clean the machine. Good, but his machine is toast. If you could see where the drive shaft goes, you can see the break in the case. Ooh, and the leaks nonstop. Yeah, looks like that one's done. Damian Jones, you passed me. Uh-oh. Did I skip over you, Damian? Let's scroll up. Hank Soft Road, thanks for your help. Not a problem. Oh, 2016. Yeah, let me look that up for you. Hank, make a note of it. Damian, where are you? Oh, okay. Damian Jones, is it hard to do a valve clearance check on a 2013 GSXR 600? What all has to be removed? It's been a while, but it's going to be the basics. You will end up having to take off the fuel tank and then more than likely the air cleaner. I can't remember how far the air box goes up on top of the head. But once you get those two things out of the way, it's just a matter of getting the valve cover off and then just diving in. But it shouldn't be that bad. All right. I've caught you. Let me make sure. No, they're making notes for me over there. All right. So no bonus codes yet, but who knows? They may decide to drop one over on Instagram and or Facebook. So follow us at Partzilla on both of those locations and enter to win, man. Enter to win. You can enter once a day, every day. So get over there and do it. Starting off with goggles, and it expands from there, like I said. Well, all right, guys. We are going to call it a day, and I'm going to head to the barn, so to speak. So once again, everybody, thanks for coming in, spending a little time with us, sending in some great questions as usual. And everybody have a great weekend, a great week. God willing, we will see you next week. Oh, I'll actually be on the road again next week at 3. But if I'm anywhere near a decent cell tower, I will go ahead and transmit from my truck. Going to play at another racetrack. Heading back to Roebling for probably my last event for the year. And then I guess I can share with y'all. And that engine right back there is going to get built and go in the car. But don't tell anybody. I'll share that with y'all later. Well, once again, everybody have a great weekend, a great week, and we will see you hopefully next Friday at 3 from somewhere on the road. Y'all take care.